Hello everyone, this is Green Panda and welcome back to another video. This is going to be a sketchbook tour of 2021 because I did the sketchbook in May 2021, hence the mermaid on the front cover. She was not the first illustration I made, but she was on the front because I did not like the original one, which was this one. I did not like her, she looked ugly, I hated it, so I kind of changed it up, and the work in progress is on the left there where you can see where I swatched all the gouache colours, and this was just me using gouache for the first time. This was me messing around with the whole textures and elements of like techniques, what gouache can do. More mermaids because I'm doing a live touch stream, and thought, here, I've only done one thing and I want to keep drawing, so I just did a bunch more mermaids using Posca pens and stuff. I did some more mermaids. I thought I was still going to keep drawing mermaids, but I ended up getting bored, so I kind of just went with eyes instead. I did one page with eyes with Posca pens, loved the style, so I ended up doing it again on the second page, and I would love to make a character based off this art style. This one I was using watercolours for the artiste. I was making like a proper, actual illustration. Really happy with how it turned out, but I realised that the dark paint kind of rubs off on the other paper. I love Arteza, recommend it 100%, 10 out of 10. Except for the fact that no matter what paint you use, even if it's bright or dark, it kind of rubs off on the other side. Even in this one, the Posca paint kind of rubbed off on one side of the paper. This was a trans flag spread that I was going to do. I was basically planning on doing all the pride flags, so it's going to be trans to non-binary to bisexual, etc. I ended up not doing in that because I couldn't be arsed. This one was basically me hashing out my ideas for the whole boob meme that was going live on Twitter. And some things weren't completed, but I just needed to get my ideas on paper. This one I'm really happy with how it turned out. You know how people online keep saying things like, oh, I feel like a fraud? This paper kind of made me feel like, wow, I'm actually an artist. This one I didn't finish drawing and colouring in the headshot of the girl on the side, and the other picture didn't like how it turned out, except for the flowers. Those are the only things I was happy with. The one on the left, that's supposed to be Luna. I didn't really finish it in case you guys can't see what it was. The other side, I was just messing around with different types of techniques and whatever. This one was line art techniques, and so I just did a floating head. I was looking at psychedelic art stuff, really happy with how it turned out, and I was just using a ton of like line art stuff that I could use. Other page, just a pencil sketch, I couldn't be arsed. This one, more psychedelic stuff. I was just really into like this whole technique, but at this point I was kind of scared of finishing it. I was like, oh, how do I want to colour it in? It looks so good. I'm kind of terrified I'm going to mess it up, so I kind of left it as it was. This one was pretty much vent. I just wanted to get all my thoughts and feelings out there. That's what caused the hiatus, and pretty happy with how it turned out. This one I was messing around with gouache, and pretty happy with how she turned out, but gouache is better on watercolour paper. On Arteza, it's not good. It's not great at all, and it's like Arteza's great, but yeah. Another spread that I did, and I didn't finish it because I put my paints away and I forgot what colours I used and how I painted the skin, so I was kind of terrified to mess it up, so I just left it as it was. But other than that though, I'm actually really happy with how it turned out, except for that girl on the side. Her eyes are a bit bung-eyed, but other than that though, it's like, yeah, at least it, looked nice. I got binders in the paper too to protect one page from the other in case any goes wrong. Backgrounds. I am terrible at backgrounds, so I try to isolate certain elements of a background just to see if I can figure it out, and it doesn't matter what it is, because like perspective, I just don't understand it. I can't wrap my brain around it. Everyone's like, oh, it's straight lines, it's so easy. It's not. I don't know, it's like my brain just can't quite understand it. That girl's naked, I forgot. Sorry guys. Bit of not safe work there, but I was looking at, again, more psychedelic stuff online and just trying to see if I can actually recreate that with Posca pens and techniques, and I was actually able to copy and paste it. So that whole Doki Doki Literature Club type art style where everything just goes wrong and effed up, well, I was actually really happy that I could actually incorporate it like in traditional. This one, I was just really into Among Us for some reason. Not happy with the first illustration because it was supposed to be like bright blue with like bits of like dark red, like, watercolor techniques. So I do love Arteza, but when it comes to techniques that I know how to use, like, it just, I don't know, I just can't experiment or, predict what the paper's got to be doing. Either the paint's got to go down alright or it's got to look terrible. Marker wise, Arteza's great with it, and so on the right, that's basically what I use with marker. The other side, that's pretty much watercolor. Really happy with how it turned out, and yeah. This side, this was supposed to be a free colour challenge, and yeah, in case you guys are on my Instagram, you would see how it looks. I'm actually really surprised with how it turned out. I was like, wow, that looks really good and something that I would never usually draw. It was just a random face, so it was just me trying to do a random challenge. This one I used acrylic paint, and I hate acrylic paint. In this paper and this paint that I use, I still hate acrylic paint. I will never buy it ever again. I feel like I've been burned too many times. It's just disgusting. I hate it. Okay, this was part of the whole, you know, Thomas Sanders, Sandersides, when Logan basically yells and his eyes turned orange, so we were all thinking orange side revealed, so we were trying to, everyone online was like recreating what the character might look like, so I kind of drew him as a jock, or I drew him as a nerd with a bow tie. I gave him fire elemental powers and everything, but yeah. And I kind of forgot to put the binder back in, so I was like, quick, no, I don't want to ruin it. So I tried to use different watercolours for this one instead of the gouache that I was originally using, and the paper kind of came out terribly. This side on the left is something I do plan on finishing, but that's the reason why it's not inked in or painted, because I want to make a digital version of it, so I didn't see the point in wasting my time. This, I basically was like trying to push my line art to the limits. I used Able Art. He has a YouTube channel, and his, you know, traditional sketchbook of his line art is really freaking good, and so I copied his techniques, and I was like, wow, line art, like, is something that I'm not a huge fan of. I hate line art freaking sucks, but when I did it here, I actually really enjoyed it, and I was like, I'm so happy with how this turned out. I was able to, like, you know, make a good picture. This one was just a blech. Not really happy with how any of this turned out. It was one of those crappy art pages that you're just not really happy with, but it's just there in the sketchbook and you have to deal with it. It's like one of those things. This I was practicing gouache with hands and how to like paint everything. I still haven't got the hang of it, and I don't know if it's me or if it's this paper, because when I use some watercolor paper, it seemed to go out like really well. Okay, this one, I have portraits at home of women as the elements of like spring, summer, winter, autumn and all that stuff, and I was basically thinking, here, I'm really good artist now, I can totally do this. I failed. I tried my best, but with the gouache paints that I was using, it just was not going out the way I wanted it to. I will plan to like try it again digital wise, just to show how much better it's supposed to be. And because I felt like I wasn't doing good with the gouache, I kind of started practicing faces and techniques in the back of the page, just to see, here, maybe I might be able to figure it out. And I felt like the more I was practicing with gouache, the worse I was getting. Like, practice doesn't make perfect for me, and it's like, oh god, no matter what I did, it was just getting harder and harder to like use, and it just wasn't working. And the gouache I was using was watercolor one, so it's like the water gouache, so I can understand if people looking thinking, why are you struggling? It's like, oh yeah, it's because it gets reactivated with water. So yeah, I had to pick the most difficult art medium ever. So here's Tinkerbell. I basically traced some line art, put it in the book, and just messed around with watercolor just to see how the paper would take. Then I used marker on the other side. Really happy with how it turned out. And this other page here, that's supposed to be acrylic paint, but since you know I don't like acrylic, I think I decided to make it like gouache, so I'll finish that later on. So yeah, this sketchbook is, to me, done, because I'm done with it. I'm making another one, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this sketchbook tour, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!